Hey guys, today I'm looking at Splitgate 2. I just got off the alpha gameplay footage and it's really good. I'm honestly very impressed and almost a little bit surprised. I played Splitgate 1. It's free, it's open, people were just kind of messing around, or what if we added portals to Halo? And that concept was such a good proof of concept from the original one. They made it free to play and so many people loved it that now Splitgate 2 has come out and it's kind of delivering on the idea that okay, this is going to be a big thing now. This is going to be the CS:GO 2, more or less. I mean, it's more or less like Valve's philosophy, honestly, when you think about it. But yeah, it honestly, it's a very fun game. It feels very tactile, very, how do I say, very strong. The response of all the weapons is much better than it was in Splitgate 1. It's really, you kind of play these games, you think, oh, it's good, but it could use some more polish. And it is very, very polished at this point. It feels really good to play Splitgate 2, and it feels like it's doing everything correctly. The other thing that is really nice is also how the upgrade system works. Or rather the experience. I've always said this about multiplayer shooters, is that you want to have a system which allows the character to constantly, you want to give them goodies, essentially. Oh, you unlocked a new weapon, a new thing, and you're like, well, I was kind of done with the game, but I do want to see what that new weapon does. I just want to try it out. And if you keep drip feeding the player in the beginning like that, or not drip feeding, but you're actually feeding them, then you can get some really good, some really interesting retention, I guess I would say, with that. And I really do enjoy that. And so as I was playing this, you basically have three main classes: Eros, Harbinger, and something else. I forget the other two. But Eros is the one where you essentially get this ultimate power that builds up over time, which is essentially I think it's a speed boost. Yeah, no, so they have the speed boost. The second class essentially has this, how would you call it? Sort of a detector, eye in the sky kind of thing. It'll detect all the enemies, and also their attacks or moves also help to detect enemies through walls and stuff like that. And the third and final class is kind of like a tank class, and so they basically drop down to shield and now also have more firepower and all that kind of stuff. But more or less the weapon loadouts are more or less the same. It's interesting how they vary between different classes. So, I mean, every class you start off with a carbine and an assault rifle, and then you'll unlock things like a shotgun. So the shotgun for the first class, for the speed class, is pretty much, it's like a semi-auto. For the tactical class and the spy class, it's more of it's a weird one. It's a one hit kill, but it's a charge up, so it's a very risk reward heavy shotgun. And then the shotgun for the final tank kind of class is a just a normal shotgun. It's pump action, so it's kind of in between those two. So yeah, there's a bit of variation in terms of the weapons for each class and the class powers. Hit markers, feedback feel very good. I mean, it very much kind of feels a little bit like Overwatch in terms of, the UI and how everything controls. But it feels fast-paced, it feels fun, and it never is long to get into another match. And the way that a lot of these things work is there's a variety of game modes, from, normal team deathmatch to capture the flag to plant the bomb, and they all feel equally fun, essentially. The one interesting thing is that it'll have these very short rounds. And so the overall game, where you might be used to getting, to 50 kills for one team, they kind of chunk that out into maybe, 15 kills per round. And whoever gets to the first round, then, or whoever gets up to 3 rounds, then wins the game. And so they have this whole sort of tiered approach to the multiplayer experience, which is, I would say, pretty interesting. But it keeps a lot of gameplay fresh, so it's not like, oh, well, they're so far ahead of us, we'll never keep up. But then again, you have those crazy turnarounds, which are very entertaining to do. Of course, the main aspect, I think, of Splitgate is the mechanic of either teleporting around the map, which you can only put portals on certain walls. That's really how Splitgate works. So it's not exactly super broken, but somewhat broken. And so that allows you either to essentially teleport around the map, which every character has the ability to do, or you have the ability to look through a kind of portal, obviously, on the map and see, peek up behind the enemy. But it's only a certain wall, so you can't just put it behind the person, or it would be complete chaos. So it kind of managed chaos. That, okay, we're giving you this portal power, but you can only use it in these specific scenarios in these specific ways. And there's a whole new slew of strategies that unveil because of that. Of course, very much like the Halo arena shooter style, what I did appreciate a lot in this game is just they do have certain control points, key areas, and power weapons. So there's a point to going around the map. You might find a special weapon. I think the funniest one is the one-hit kill melee weapon in this game, which is just a baseball bat. I don't know, that's just very much entertained me. And then there's also things like snipers, rocket launchers, and a submachine gun. And they all feel really, really good. And they all feel really worth picking up. The sniper definitely is a lot of fun. It's definitely hard to hit sometimes the characters. I found like I would do like 90% of their health would go away when I shot them, which was honestly aggravating because they could usually recover very quickly. So, I mean, there's that, but it feels really good. I mean, the amount of polish this game has gotten, it feels appropriate and it feels correct. How it's made and how it's been manufactured, essentially. It just feels really, really good. On top of that, I guess I would say the aesthetic and the style of the game, it seems not to be like the, Halo, where it's this weird. I mean, Halo multiplayer almost had a mythical quality to them, that it was like, yeah, this is an arena shooter, but it's also from a dimension that's not supposed to be here. Like, it's a very video game-esque video game in some sense, that this is trying to emulate and have a mystique around the multiplayer maps that really is mysterious and weird and very specific. So Splitgate doesn't really have that. It definitely has that sci-fi aspect to it, but it's sci-fi in the context of a like an esport. This feels like this would be an esport in the Halo universe, if you catch my meaning. It feels very much like, yeah, this thing exists and it's not super mystical or mysterious. It's like, okay, this is the actual sport in the world that exists, essentially, and there's not much else to say about it. So yeah, it's just an overall fun game, and they kind of say this thing, oh yeah, make your indie demo or whatever, and then when people hop on, polish it and make it really good. And that's honestly exactly what they've done. They've made a very, very, very good game, and I'm super grateful I got to play the alpha. I think this is going to be a really big sensation, or at least a somewhat big sensation, especially with Overwatch kicking the bucket. So overall, very impressive, very fun, and I can't wait to see more of it in the future.